Okay, guys, very good morning. Are you able to see my slides? PPT.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yesterday we discussed up to this. We discussed. The shaft design. Just to recap, 1 minute. Um, Design of shaft. There are three ways we can design the shaft. One is a strength basis. I mean, the second strength basis, and sorry, there are two ways. There's strength basis and rigidity, torsional rigidity basis, right? Now, and also the another one is the ACM code concept. Yesterday we discussed strength basis. Suppose the shaft is subjected to static load, then we can directly use this formula for finding the shaft diameter, right? Now, sigma t is the permissible stress. Now, sigma 1, sigma tensile, okay? Now, second case, when the shaft subjected to bending moment, then we have to use this formula for finding the diameter of the shaft d. When the shaft subjected to twisting moment, torsion, only shear effect, then we can use this formula for finding the diameter of the shaft. But when the shaft subjected to both the combined load, then tau and sigma b, when the shaft subjected to normal stress as well as shear stress, then we have to go for the Mohr circle concept. We have to go for the Mohr circle concept. Mohr circle concept is nothing but maximum shear, maximum principal stress, maximum normal stress or maximum principal stress or maximum shear, right? So maximum principal stress theory, we are applying this, finding the design for designing the shaft diameter. Hence, maximum principal stress theory, we already know sigma 1 is equal to sigma x by 2 whole square root of sigma x by 2 whole square plus tau square. From this relation, we are substituting. Here the sigma x is nothing but a normal stress. Bending stress also under normal stress category. Hence, we are substituting our sigma x. Instead of sigma x, I am substituting my bending stress value. Now we are going to attain that the maximum normal stress is in terms of bending moment and twisting moment, torsion moment. Okay, twisting moment or torsional moment. Now 16. Substitute here these values. Substitute this sigma b and tau in our equation. Then finally we are going to get sigma 1 is equal to maximum principal stress theory. Sigma 1 is equal to 16 divided by pi d cube by into mb plus square root of mb squared plus mt squared. Okay, this is our maximum principal stress theory. This maximum principal theory MPST only valid for the brittle material. People might have been done a lot of experiments, and then finally they observed that this equation suitable for brittle material. Now, similarly, maximum shear stress theory. Now, substitute that sigma b value and tau value. Then finally we are getting 16 by pi d cube into whole square root of mt square plus mt square. Now this theory is suitable for ductile material. When the shafts are made of ductile materials like steels, then this formula suitable. This formula suitable for ductile material. Now then sigma 1 here, sigma 1 is nothing but we know this material properties, right? Yield strength divided by factor of safety. Because sigma 1 we can't use directly. We have to use for our safe limit. For safe limit, we have to use sigma SYT, yield strength divided by factor of safety, that will give you permissible stress limit, right? Similarly, in tau max, I'm using SY. Shear yield divided by FOS, factor of safety. Now, we already studied in the design of measured elements, SY is nothing but 0.5 times of SYT, yield strength. Then these two relations to define our permissible stress value. This sigma 1 is equal to SYT divided by Fs, and say tau max is equal to SSY divided by Fs. It will give you the permissible stress value that can be used in the left hand side of this our maximum principal stress theory and maximum shear stress theory respectively. Okay, now I come to this. Now what is this? I mean this terminology, please anyone tell that? I'm asking that what is this? Yeah, I underline it, you tell me what is this terminology. Please anyone tell that. Whatever I circled, the terms, what I can call these terms?
Bending moment and torsional moment.
Yeah, bending moment, torsion moment, but what is the correct terminology?
Resultant.
Resultant, no pa.
Equivalent.
Yeah, please tell me.
Equivalent bending moment.
Yeah, because I would like to know either the students have you studied or not, because you must be studied, but just recollect the information. You may be studied in strength of material, and also we discussed in the, I think last subject also we discussed, I think so. Then what is this terminology?
Equal moment.
Equivalent bending moment. Okay, this one, the second circle.
Equivalent torsion moment.
Equivalent torsion moment. Yeah. So that's what. Now, next we are going to discuss about that terminology, equivalent torsional moment. This is nothing but equivalent torsional moment. Now, MB plus MB squared plus MT squared is called equivalent bending moment. Sometimes you may get these objective questions. This is nothing but equivalent torsional moment. MB plus ME. MB plus TE. Some books they may be put different notations. Now I'm putting TE here. Suppose I'm giving for shaft, the shaft bending moment I'm giving, how much bending moment is acting in the shaft I'm giving directly. Then I'm giving the equivalent torsion moment. Finally, I'm asking that to design the shaft diameter based on the equivalent bending moment. Then you have to use this. This kind of questions you may expect in the objective type. Okay. Now see here, torsional equivalent torsion moment. They have. Just we briefly discuss equivalent torsion moment. Yeah, please 1 minute. Someone is calling me. Yeah, I have class later. We'll meet. Okay. Now see here, the equivalent torsion moment is defined as the torsion moment the equivalent torsion moment defined as the torsion moment which when acting alone will produce the same torsional shear stress in the shaft under the combined action of bending moment and torsion moment. Similarly, you can say that equivalent bending moment also. See, the equivalent bending moment is defined as the bending moment which when acting alone produce the same bending stress instead of torsion stress, same bending stress in the shaft under combined action of bending moment and torsional moment. Bending moment or equivalent torsion moment also you can say when we are defining equivalent bending moment. Okay. Now the concept of equivalent torsion moment is used to design the shaft based on the maximum shear stress theory. Shear stress theory of failure. But similarly, I can say that the concept of equivalent torsional moment. Now the same terminology I'm using for defining my equivalent bending moment. The concept of equivalent torsion moment here has been written here. The concept of equivalent bending moment is used to design the shaft based on the maximum principal stress theory. Maximum principal stress theory of failure. Okay. Now, Okay, anyway, we are going to discuss the problem. During the time you can easily understand. Now we have found the torsion moment and the bending moment. Then which torsion moment is maximum? Which bending moment is maximum? Those things we are going to consider for finding the diameter of the shaft later. Just keep in mind while discussing the problem, you can clearly understand about that. I mean, which maximum twisting, which maximum bending moment we are using for designing the shaft, then you can easily understand. Later I will explain you while discussing the problem. Okay, up to this, just now you keep in mind what is equivalent torsion moment and equivalent bending moment. Okay, now these are the whatever we discussed. These are the, I mean, based on strength, based on the shaft design, based on the strength basis. Now we discussed the next case, the shaft design based on the torsional rigidity. The torsional rigidity also called as the lateral rigidity. The torsional rigidity also called as the lateral rigidity. Now this is also very simple. See here, the shaft. Now, I mean, at which case we are going to use this torsional rigidity for finding the or designing the shaft. There are few points I tell you that. I mean, for example, in certain applications, wherever machine tools spindles, it's necessary to design the shaft based on the torsional rigidity. Because that, I mean, torsional rigidity, because that is called the based on the, I mean, the basis of permissible angle of twist per meter length. I mean, very important thing. When we are going for torsional rigidity, we are considering that very, very important parameter is that twist per, I mean, angle of twist of the shaft, angle of twist of the shaft we are considering. Now that's what, this is the angle of twist. When we are considering the parameter angle of twist, then we are going to use this concept for design the shaft. Which concept? Torsional rigidity concept. Now, what is the torsional rigidity? The same formula yesterday, whatever I have written, I mean, bending equation, right? Bending equation and torsion equation, torsion and bending downing equation, very important, right? Right now, see here, we know, right, the formula bending equation, m by I, m by j, here, m by mt, sorry, this is mt. Twisting moment T by J is equal to G theta by L. From this relation, now I am considering theta R. This is the theta in radian. Okay. Now theta R here. So theta R is equal to MT into L by GJ. GJ. From these relations, my theta is in terms of, now we consider radian in here in terms of theta, converting into theta, then 180 divided by pi into MTL by GJ. Now from this relation, J is equal to pi d for 4 by 32. Okay. Now this is not MT, this is M subscript T. M subscript T. Because some students, okay, again write it. Okay. Now from this relation we are able to find out the theta. Now we know the angle of twist. How much angle of twist the shaft going to be involved into the application. If we know this angle of twist, we know the angle of twist, then we know how much twisting moment, how much torque we are going to apply in the shaft we should know. The length of the shaft we should know. I mean, this is a material properties, elastic moduli. I mean, shear moduli of the shear modulus of the shaft, shear modulus of the material. Then we are able to find out the diameter of the shaft. Okay, this is based on the torsional rigidity. Now I come to the ASME code shaft. Now some more point I would like to share here. I mean, shaft design based on that torsional rigidity. Now see here, the shaft looks like rigid, means that the shaft doesn't twist too much, doesn't twist too much, right? Doesn't twist too much when it is subjected to torque. A small twist movement, small angular twist also we have to consider for the design of the shaft diameter. Similarly, the shaft, said to be the lateral rigidity if the shaft doesn't deflect too much under the action of the external force and bending moment. It won't deflect too much because see here in spindle, very small. The spindle is very small shaft. But as compared to long shaft, the shaft going to be a deflection more, angle of twist also more. That's what we are considering machine tool spindle. Machine tool spindle. 1 minute. Just I close and again open this PPT because I'm getting some issues. Just give me a minute. Yeah, long shaft going to be a more deflection, more angular twist. But when we are considering a machine tool spindles are very small shaft, slightly taper. Hence, the angle of twist also very small, as well as the deflection is also very small as compared to this shaft. Hence, we are using, this torsional rigidity approach for defining our shaft diameter, especially in machine tools. Okay. Now, in machine tool spindles, it's necessary to design the shaft, necessary to design the spindle because the spindle having a small length of the shaft. There are because the small length and so the deflection and bending moment also very less. Hence, we are using this concept, torsional rigidity concept for defining the shaft diameter, especially in small shaft. For example, machine tool spindle. Now, the next case we discuss the ASME code approach. Now, ASME code approach. According to this code, now we are directly the people already developed the range of CSS value and without a key and with the key, how we have to consider some of the parameters, they are already well defined. We are going to follow that standard procedure to define the or design the shaft diameter. Now see here, the shaft can be designed using the ASME code approach now, right? According to the ASME code, see here, the permissible shear stress tau max for the shaft without the keys. Shaft without the keys. You may ask that, sir, without the keys, how can I join the pulleys? Right? Without the keys, we cannot join the pulleys. The pulleys may be a welder. The pulleys may be screwed. But without the keys, they are saying that mostly we are going to study in this chapter with the keys. The pulley connected on the shaft with the help of the key. That's what now only we are considering this parameter. Suppose screwed portion or threaded portion, they might have been used different values, that the KB and KT values. I tell you what is the KB and KT values. That's what. According to this code, the permissible shear stress tau max for the shaft without the keys, then 30% yield strength in tension is considered. 13% or 18% of the ultimate tension is considered. Now the 13% is nothing but here this is 13%, that is 0.3 SYT, yield strength 0.3 SYT, strength or 0.18, this one 0.18 SUT. This is nothing but a tau max. This is a tau max. But this is ASME code for shaft design. They well define this value. Now, in this two value, which one is minimum that will be considered for the design purpose without the keys. For example, this is the shaft. The pulley is connected, right? The pulley is connected with the key. Now they told that without keys. When we are going to use with keys, then the with keys, the value is further reduced into 0.25%. Now further reduced into 0.25%, then what is the multiplication factor now? Can you tell me tau max multiplication factor in when this is whatever I told you that here this and this without the keys. Now we are discussing with the keys. Without the keys we can't connect. I mean, we can use some other mechanism, welding or some other joining mechanism, but now we are concentrating with the keys. Now with the keys, the value is going to be reduced 25%. Then what is the multiplication factor for finding the tau max? Please tell me someone.
0.75, sir.
0.75.
Yeah, 0.75. 0.75 into, thank you guys. 0.75 into tau max. Okay, we will discuss later while the problem we are going to discuss. These are the things. Okay. Now, I mean, 18% of the ultimate strength of the material in this both, which one is minimum? Which is minimum? 18%. First, we have to use this both concept 0.3 times, 0.18 times. Then, which one is minimum? That one be going to be considered. That will be multiplied by 0.75. Okay, that's what we are using. That's what we are discussing both with key waste, without a key waste. Without a key waste, which one is minimum? 0.3 SYT or 0.18 SUT, which one is minimum? That will be considered first. Then that one again multiplied by 0.75. Okay, now I think you might be very clear. Now when according to the ASME code, the bending and torsional moments are multiplied by the factors. See, whatever we consider bending here, see here, when we defined bending moment, you might have been studied bending theory. The bending theory, you consider the beam uniform cross section. You consider the beam in uniform cross section, either rectangular bar or square bar or circular bar, without any key waste, right? While defining the bending moment and torsion moment. Now, in our case, we are going to introducing, notch. Notch means here key waste. We are going to introduce the key waste, or we are going to introduce this, threaded portions, whatever. So then based on that, we cannot use directly this bending moment and torsion moment, right? Because we are introducing the key waste for connecting pulleys or gear mechanism on the shaft. Hence, we have to use some multiplication factor along with the bending moment and torsion moment. That is suggested by ASME standards. Then we are using this multiplication factor here. Multiplication factor. See here. KB is a combined shock and fatigue factor applied into the bending moment. KB. KT is KT is nothing but a shock and fatigue factor applied to the torsion moment. That's what I'm telling here. Now we would like to rewrite the maximum shear stress theory based on ASME code approach. Now we would like to rewrite the maximum shear stress theory based on the ASME code approach. Now similarly, we would like to rewrite the maximum principles theory based on ASME code approach. Okay. Now I told you why we are using KB and KT. Again, I tell you that according to the ASME code, the bending and torsion moments are multiplied factor KB and KT respectively for accounting the shock and fatigue factors in the operating condition. Okay. Now see here sigma 1. Now this is maximum shear stress theory. Just I multiplied KB and KT. Now how can I find out KB and KT? People already gone to multiple experiments and multiple research, then came to know that standard values for load gradually applied. Gradually applied. I mean, gradually applied, Kb value going to be 1.5 and Kt value going to be 1. This is bending. I mean, this Kt is nothing but, I mean, shock and the fatigue load factor for a factor applied bending moment, right? Combined shock and fatigue factor applied for bending moment. This is Kt is combined shock and fatigue factor applied for torsional moment. Okay. Now, load suddenly applied minor shock, then 1.5 to 2. The Kb value 1.5 to 2. If suppose the problem not given, the Kb value and Kt value, only this is given, you can assume this value. No problem. 1.5 first case, second case 1.5 to 2, then this is 1 to 1.5. Now, third case, the load is suddenly applied to heavy shock. Then Kb and Kt value also increase 2 to 3, here 1.5 to 3. This is a standard value obtained from the design data book as suggested by ASME people, okay, ASME community. Now, this is the value we are going to use in our problem. Now, I mean, generally, the shaft diameter in the DME, design of meson elements, we discussed, no, how we are going for the making products. I mean, there's a standard method we should follow, standard dimension we should follow for manufacturing any component. That's what we studied clearly in the last subject, design of meson elements, right? Similarly, see here, the diameter of the shaft 5 mm, next size 6 mm, next size 8 mm, next size 10, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18. Now, see here up to 200 mm. I mean, these are the standard size. These are the standard size. It can be easily available in the market. Suppose if you are starting a company, you are going for startup, then you are making the shaft diameter for 5.75 mm. That is based on the customer requirement. That is a custom made. Okay? That is depends on requirement. You may do that. Depends on your specific application. You may create. You may manufacture yourself. Okay. But this is standard dimensions of 5 mm to 200 mm diameter of the shaft. This standard dimensions available in the market. Okay, as per the design data book, the manufacturers they're following this standard. I mean, you can go for your design, shaft design based on the available table, because this kind of dimension shaft you can get it easily from the market. Okay, so that's what. Now we go for the. I mean, before entering into the problem, then what are the types of problem we are going to discuss? Just we discuss here. Now see here. I mean, here, this is the shaft. This is pulley, right? This is pulley 1, P1, maybe pulley, this is a P2. This is a bearing B1. Okay, I put BA. This is BD. Now, this is shaft. Now, key is going to be here. I put key. Okay, now this is looks like the bearings acting as a support to end support. The bearings also, it will allow to free rotation of the shaft. It allow to free rotation of the shaft because this shaft may be connected to this shaft. Maybe this shaft connected to electric motor, right? And now this pulley may be connected to electric motor. Now this pulley may be power transmission from here to another one of the mechanism. Okay, from here to another mechanism. This is pulley. Hence, now see here, these bearings will be acting as a support as well as to allow free rotation of the shaft. Then only we are able to transmit the power from electric motor to another mechanism, maybe here, right? Hence, now we are going to discuss. I mean, this is looks like a simply supported beam. I think if you are, I think you studied in the strength of material subject, simply supported beam, how to find out the reaction calculation, how to find out the reaction calculation, shear force diagram, bending moment diagram, how to find out the shear force, how to find out the bending moment. Those things I think you might have been studied well. Okay, so those approach we are going to use to find out the diameter of the shaft here, because we already discussed the shaft, how much twisting moment. I mean, equivalent torsion moment, equivalent bending moment. Now we are going to discuss about the resultant bending moment. Then resultant bending moment, how we are going to find out, we will discuss in the problem. Just keep in mind. Now, this is the simply supported beam, but the both the pulleys mounted inside the shaft, inside the support. Now, what is this type of beam? Please tell me that. Here also, this is a bearing A, this is a bearing B. Now, this is a pulley 1. Now, this is a pulley 2. This is a what type of concept we can use to define our bending moment and shear force calculation here? What type of beam? This is
Hangings.
yeah,
Overhang, sir.
overhanging beam, double overhanging beam, both side overhanging beam. Now, I mean, see here, this is a pulley connected by belt drive mechanism. One side is tight side, another side is slack side. Now, what is the total load acting in this pulley? For example, inner pulley, total load P1 plus P2. Similarly, the bigger pulley, right hand side pulley, what is the total load acting in the right hand side pulley? P3 plus P4. I mean, that will be considered as a force acting on the shaft. Here, I erase some of the things. Now, here, now see here, this is this is maybe downward direction or upward direction. Don't worry about that. Now, here, see here. Okay, anyway, here obviously downward direction only, because the load is given. For example, here itself I tell you. Now we consider the bigger pulley. See the bigger pulley, the load is acting to downward direction, vertical direction, right? Now, how much load is acting here? Now, how much load is acting on the shaft? You may say, as per the strength of material concept, you may say that point load acting on the beam here. How much load is acting here? P1 plus P2. This is now vertical load. Now see here, second pulley. This is now I am considering as a second pulley. In this pulley, it's a horizontal load. This is just imagine it. This is horizontal load. Now, how much load is acting horizontal load at the point C? At the point C of shaft, or else you may consider like that on the beam at the point C. What is the load here acting? Horizontal load. P3 plus P4. P3 plus P4. But here horizontal. Because we are going to consider vertical load. Separately, we are going to consider as a vertical plane. Based on that, we are going to define the reaction force and bending moment. Similarly, we are going to consider separate shear force diagram with respect to, reaction calculation with respect to horizontal force and bending moment with respect to horizontal force. Okay, now see, similarly here, that is the concept we are going to apply here. Now I am giving here basic things here that will help you to understand the problem in the later. Now this is the double overhanging beam. Now I come to this single overhanging beam, but here the concept both are same. Single overhanging beam, but some simply supported beam, but single overhanging, one side overhanging. Now here this is a pulley PA, this is a pulley PB. Okay. Now the pulley, the bigger pulley is subjected into horizontal force, horizontally connected. The belt drive is horizontally connected. I mean, what horizontal means, now this is the vertical direction. Horizontal means parallel. I mean, for my board, parallel to my board. Okay. I mean, Vertical is parallel to my board. This is horizontal vertical. This this is the vertical is parallel to my board. This this is this is a perpendicular. Here perpendicular to my board. Okay. Anyway, once we discuss the problem, you can understand. Okay. Now if I come to this, I mean the shaft not only subjected to, I mean not only connected to pulley. The shaft it may connected to gear also. When gear will be connected, we should know tangential load and radial load. Okay. I mean, in this case, which one is tangential load? Here, 1600 Newton. For example, another load is 4421 Newton is acting. Which one is tangential load? Which one is the radial load? Anyone, please tell me that. Because this is a gear, right? When the gear is connected, this gear is going to be messing with another gear. For example, this gear is going to be, yeah, tell me, ma.
4000 tangential, sir.
Yes.
600 radial.
Yes. Okay. When this is a gear going to be meshed with another gear, but whatever we discussed, the pulley is going to be connected with the belt. Hence, we are considering tight set, slack side, P1, P2, P3, P4 for this belt. This pulley P1, P2, this pulley P3, P4, slack side, tight side, because this pulley going to be connected with one belt, this pulley connected with another belt, hence tight side, slack side. Now here, I mean, this gear is going to be meshed with another gear. Hence, the gear, which gear 2 teeth is messing with this, then radial force and tangential force going to be important role when these two gears are messing. I mean, here I'm not showing two gear, only one gear is there. Another gear will come like this. Another gear will come like this for power transmission. Yeah, guys, 1 minute. Sir, I am in the class. Within half an hour, I will call you back, sir. Okay. Okay, now when two gears are messing, then gear teeth are messing. I mean, because obviously we have to transmit the power from one place to another place. Hence, this is maybe a gear, this may be a pinion, right? Then this pinion teeth will be messed with the gear teeth. Then tangential radial force is acting. That's what we are mentioning here, tangential radial force. Now, this is the simply supported beam. Two gears are connected for power transmission. Okay, these are the things also we are going to discuss in the problem. Now I come to this next one. I mean, whatever we discussed, only pulleys and only gears connected in the shaft. Now, the combination of this is the connected in the gears as well as pulleys. The shaft is connected in the gears as well as pulleys. The shaft also connected in the bearing. The bearing part we are going to discuss very detailed manner in the later. Now, the gears, now this is the, whatever we discussed, this may be a spur gear. This is also spur gear, right? Now, this is a belt mechanism. Belt mechanism also we are going to discuss later as a flexible drive mechanism, right? Now, gear drive. Now, the shaft also connected with a different gear mechanism. This may be a helical gear or herringbone gear. This may be a, bevel gear, right? Depends on application. The shaft going to be connected with the different types of gears, right? Different types of gears. That's what we are going to discuss in the later. Now, the last one, whatever we discussed, these are the simply supported beam. Based on application, we are using, pulleys to connect the shaft or gears to connect the shaft or combination of this. Based on our application, we are using connecting the different gears as well as pulleys combined together with the shaft. So finally, the shaft can be connected with the shaft in beam. This is what kind of mechanism this? This is a cantilever beam mechanism. Cantilever beam mechanism. So, it's very simple. We have to find out the torque of bending moment for designing our shaft diameter based on the equivalent bending moment and equivalent torsion moment. Okay, now we go for the problem. If you have any doubt, please go ahead. At least we try to solve a couple of problems today. Okay. Now we start the problem. The layout of the transmission shaft carrying pulleys B and C. Carrying pulleys B and C. Where is B and C? Just how many students are there in the class? Okay, 70. We take attendance today. Just one problem we have to discuss. I mean, the layout of a transmission shaft carrying two pulleys B and C. This is pulley B, this is a pulley C. Okay. Now, and supported the bearings A and D. This is the supported bearing A and D. This is a bearing supported by A and D. It can be acting as a support as well as it will allow to free rotation of the shaft. Okay. Now, I mean, power is supplied to the shaft by means of vertical belt. I mean, power where it is power is supplied. The power is supplied to the shaft by means of the vertical belt on pulley B, which is then transmitted to C. Where the input power is connected, at which pulley input power is connected? On pulley B's input power is connected. That's what we are telling here. Then, which then is transmitted to the pulley C. Okay. Now, the maximum tension in the belt on the pulley is 2.5 Newton. Maximum tension. The angle of warp for the pulley, both the pulleys given 180 degree. The angle of warp. See here. Now, this is the angle of warp. You might have been studying the basic mechanical engineering BME. This angle of warp clearly given this angle, right? 180 degree. 180 degree. Angle of warp given 180 degree. The coefficient of friction given 0.24. 0.24. All right. The shaft is made of plain carbon steel. Now they have given SYT. Yield strength value 400 Newton per mm square. And factor of safety is 3 given. Now determine the shaft diameter based on this strength. Now you tell me that, I mean, here one formula is that the belt mechanism formula. What is the belt tension ratio formula? Please tell me that. Belt tension ratio formula. You studied already.
So P2 by P1 is equal to E power minus beta B theta.
E power mu theta, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, now P1 by P2 is equal to E power mu theta. Now here P1 is given. Because as I told you that we have to find out P1, P2. Then only we are able to find out what is the total load is acting at a particular point of the B or particular point of the shaft. Okay, hence now I would like to find out P2. Now P1 is given, mu is given. Mu is 0.24, coefficient of friction, right? Theta is given 180 degree. Then convert into radian, then pi radian, right? 0.24. Then we are able to find out P2 is equal to 1. Okay. Now these are the diagrams. Leave it where we will discuss later. Now I come to this. Now I mean now see here. SUT given, factor of safety given, the for belt drive. Now permissible stress tau is equal to SSY divided by Fs, 0.5 SYT divided by Fs. Then this is our permissible tau. This is our permissible tau. This is a standard method. We already discussed many problems in the last subject. Okay. Now what is the torsional moment? What is the torsion moment? Now P1 by P2 is equal to E per mu theta. Then we have found that P2 value. P1 value already given the problem directly. Now we know P1, we know P2, right? Now what is the what is the torque transmitted? This is what is the torque transmitted? Say we already studied the formula. What is the torque transmitted while using pulley? While using pulley and the belt. Pulley on the belt. What is the torque? P1 minus P2 into P1 minus P2 into P1 minus P2 into 1 minute.
D by 2, sir.
Yeah, R. I have class. Yeah, P1 minus P2 into, okay, take it. P1 minus P2.
D by 2, sir.
Yeah, D by 2. Yeah. Now D by 2. D by 2 is given already. Now see here. I mean P1 minus P2 into R1. I mean the pulley diameter is given already. Diameter, what is the diameter of the pulley? Yes. Is given here 250 mm diameter and 500 mm diameter. Right? Now right hand side is the input power. Now pulley diameter is given, then radius it can be given. Radius is given. Now this is our torque. Now the torque is the same amount of torque going to be transmitted in the pulley too. Hence torque is same. Both pulley going to be same. Now we know that first pulley in this pulley load. What is the total load here? P1 plus P2. P1, P2, then 2500 plus 1176, then 3676 going to be load is acting on this beam, on this shaft here. Shaft or beam. For your understanding, which one you comfortable, you consider. Okay, 3676 Newton is acting here, right? Now, I mean, we know the load here, then go for the reaction calculation. Then you able to understand, you able to find out this reaction calculation. Okay. You able to find out the reaction calculation here. Now, I mean, this is the 3676 we know now. Now we know the distance, 200 mm, 600 mm, 200 mm. Then we able to, you can easily find out our reaction force at support D, at support A. Okay, but how you mean just we added reaction A and B, it's going to be like this, because the downward force and upward force, summation of downward force and summation of upward force must be equal. Okay, again now, I mean, this is the reaction force. Once we find out the reaction calculation, we can go for the bending moment calculation. Now, what is the bending moment? See here, this point at a point B. What is the bending moment at a point B? Now this is a point B. Bending moment is, I mean simple point B. Now the reaction force is acting here 2941 into 0.2 into 200 mm. Then 588232 Newton mm. Newton mm. How it is coming here? I mean 2941.18 into 0.2. This is a bending moment acting in this point B. This point B. Now, similarly, find out here bending moment. For this problem only, I am going to tell. Remaining problem, you have to do. Okay. Now, similarly, what is the bending moment in this place? Now, the load is here 3676.4 into 600, right? Minus this is how far this load into 800. I mean 2941 into 800. Then you can find out this is the bending moment here. Obviously at this support, zero bending moment. Okay. Now this is the bending moment with respect to vertical load. Whatever we discussed now in the first pulley subjected to vertical load P1, P2. The belt is connected vertical direction, vertically connected. Now we go for the horizontal plane. Now this pulley now connected horizontally in the belt. The belt is connected horizontally for the power transmission. Now what is the load? Now see here, P3 minus P4. P3 minus P4. I mean, anyway, the same calculation, P3 minus P4. Now, I already told you that torque is same. Torque is same. Now, how can I find out P3 minus P4 into, this is the smaller pulley, into 1 to R2. R2 is nothing but 125. Must be equal to torque. Whatever we torque we have found here. Okay, equate this, then we are going to get one equation, P3 minus P4. This is one equation. Now P3 by P4 is equal to e power mu theta. This is another equation. Then to solve these two equations, we are going to get a P3 and P4 values. Then what is the load is acting here? Horizontal load. What is the load? Horizontal load is acting here. This is a vertical load. Horizontal load. What is the total horizontal load in this case? I mean P3 plus P4 total horizontal load is acting here. Now 7,352 Newton is acting in the horizontal load. Now that's what we are using, horizontal plane. Now horizontal plane, we know the load, horizontal load, how much here. Now we know the beam dimension, 200 mm length, 600 mm length, 200 mm length. Then we able to find out the reaction force. Reaction force at reaction force. This is reaction force at D. This is reaction force at A. We able to find out once we have found this. Once we have found this. Okay. Now we come for the bending moment calculation with respect to horizontal load. Horizontal load. Now this is, I mean, see here, 1470 into 0.2, 1470 into 200. So it will come approximately 294118. Okay. Now similarly here, I mean here 7352.9 into 800 minus 1470 into 600. Oh, sorry. Here, yes. Am I correct or wrong? Correct, na? Is it correct or wrong? Into 800. What is the length here? Tell me. Someone tell me that. Either you can take from the left hand side or you can take from the right hand side. You can take from the right hand side also. Anyway, right hand side, already earlier bending moment calculation we used the right hand side. Sorry. Give me a 2 minutes, I complete this problem. Then we close the meeting today. Sorry. Now, I take, see here, the last case we consider the right hand side. I mean left hand side support we consider. This case you may consider from the left hand side support for finding the bending moment. I think finding the bending moment you can take from the left hand side from here to here, or you may consider the support from the right hand side to here. When we are considering here, then we have to take here. Here, what is the bending moment here? What is the bending moment here? Now 800 into 1470. Sorry. I am considering the support from the left hand side. Suppose if you consider 7352 into 200. This is with respect to, I mean the second case is with respect to left hand support. This is right hand support. Sorry, this is left hand support. With respect to left hand support, this is with respect to right hand support. But the both value will be same. Now this is the bending moment we have found. This is the bending moment we have found. Now this is with respect to horizontal load. Now I would like to find out the resultant bending moment. Resultant bending moment. Now this is the bending moment with respect to vertical load. This is the bending moment with respect to horizontal load. Now I would like to find out the resultant bending moment, because when two components are playing, vertical and horizontal bending moment, right? The vertical bending moment with respect to vertical load, the bending moment with respect to horizontal load. Hence we have to go for the resultant bending moment. And this is, take this point, take this point. I mean square root of 58823 squared plus, I mean 2941884 then we are going to get this is the resultant bending moment with respect to point B. And this is the resultant bending moment with respect to point C. With respect to point C, we have to consider these two values for finding the resultant bending moment at the point C. These two values we have to consider. Now, what is the torsion moment? Torsion moment, both the case torsion moment is same. That's what. See here, I consider this is the torsion moment. Torque, right, at the point pulley B. This is the torque at the pulley C. This is the torque at the pulley C here. Hence, this is a straight line. This is a straight line. Now see here, which one is our design value? Which bending moment we should take now? Now, tau max. Which bending moment we should take now? Now see here, this is the diagram, important diagram. Resultant bending moment diagram. In this resultant bending moment diagram, again we have to go for which bending moment is maximum. At which location maximum bending moment is acting. I mean, either location doesn't matter. Where maximum bending moment we should consider. Maximum resultant bending moment we should consider for our design the shots. Now, I am going to consider this bending moment. I am going to consider this bending moment. I mean 1185625.45 I am going to consider, and I am going to consider this torsional moment for finding my diameter of the shaft. Now, what is the tau max? We already discussed. Tau max is equal to, 16 by pi d cube whole square root of mb squared mt squared. The mb is going to be this value. Now, the mt is going to be this value because this is almost constant. Both are same. Pulley B and C both are same. Then the mt is going to be that. Then finally, the left hand side we already know the permissible stress value here. Then we are able to find out the diameter of the shaft. Then D is equal to 45.47, then 46 mm. Okay, this is the diameter of the shaft. Now, later we are going to discuss different types of problem, overhanging beam, and this is one type of problem, and a single overhanging beam. Okay, these are the problems we will discuss in the next class. If you have any questions, please. Yeah, please, any doubt? Agarwal, Amarnath, Soyab.
No, sir. No,
Any doubt?
no doubt, sir.
Okay, Soyab,
Yes, sir.
any doubts?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay, guys. Okay, 11:30 you have a class now. I stop the class now. I take attendance. Then you can leave the class, please. Cooperate. I'm taking attendance now. I first check the chat box. Someone asked any questions? No. Give me 2 minutes. We finish the attendance.